call the meeting to order and let the roll call show that all councilors are present. Councilor Gerald is on Zoom tonight. Not feeling well. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance next.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we all have an agenda before us. Is there any changes that anybody would like to make?
None, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody else?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Is there any other discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That carries. That brings us to the consent agenda. Is there anything anybody would like to pull from the consent agenda?
No.
I'll move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Jenny. You voted in the affirmative.
Yes.
Okay. A little time delay. I get it. All right, that brings us to open forum. This is the part of the meeting that the public is encouraged to voice their concerns. We'll limit you to 3 minutes, but we will not discuss legal matters. So this is your chance if you're not on the agenda elsewhere. All right, moving on, old business, ordinance 845, final reading for rezoning of Spire Credit Union.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. We are on the second and final reading of ordinance number 845, amending the zoning map, rezoning the property located at Lot 1, Block 1, Tiger Boulevard, addition from, and we're moving it from B2 to B3, General Commercial Business District.
And this is their new building or their old building?
This is where the new Spire building is
Okay.
going to go.
I thought that's where it was, and then I was thinking, well, maybe you gotta rezone that one too, but we don't know why yet, so. All right,
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 845, final reading for the rezoning of Spire Credit Union.
Second.
motion made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Also carries. That brings us to new business, Baldwin Township. Snooze, you lose on this one. We're gonna get done quick. Unless you got something to say about it.
I will go quick then. Thank you. My name is Brian Lawrence. I'm a Baldwin Township Supervisor and Mayor and City Council members. I thank you for the opportunity to speak before you this evening and allowing me this opportunity. As all of you know, a few weeks ago, you received notification that Baldwin Township is seeking to incorporate at this point in time. This is not a new idea, as was referenced by the mayor last week at the workshop. This has been a topic of discussion for many, many years in the township of Baldwin. Currently, Baldwin is the third largest township in the state of Minnesota. We have approximately 7,200 residents at this point in time. As we grow and as we develop, we realize that incorporation opens the doors to more tools and resources to manage our development. I believe that this is a wise decision for Baldwin Township and a good decision for the residents of Baldwin. Tonight, I am here to ask that you, as the city council members of Princeton, would not oppose Baldwin's petition to incorporate. Moreover, it is my hope, my desire, that you would choose to support our efforts in incorporation. I have a resolution that I'm going to present. I don't know who, if I may, I approach. We've had a resolution drafted that we're sharing with our neighboring communities, you being our neighbor to the north. And I I ask each of you to look at it, evaluate it. Please consider it as we proceed down this road together. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your consideration.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Lawrence? I don't think so. I appreciate your coming in and talking to us about it.
Yeah, thank you for opening the door for me too. Have a good night.
Take care. All right, that brings us to another related issue is participation method involved in townships incorporation request.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we have, participating, via Teams, is Kelly Bourgeois. And in your packet is a memo, to the council, which outlines, three options. First of all, we have been contacted by STAR at the Office of Administrative Hearings, helping us understand our role in this process. There's first a pre-hearing phone conference that has actually been set now for January 19th. And then sometime during the week of March 4th, we don't have an exact date yet. There will be the hearing before the administrative law judge. So we have three options for participation. The first being filing a competing petition, which we are not recommending because our timeline does not allow us to do this concurrently with Baldwin's petition. The second option would be for the city to file to become a party to the proceedings. And that would essentially put us in a position of sharing the costs with Baldwin Township, probably 50-50. The third option would be for the city staff and our outside counsel expert and subject matter experts to basically put together written and verbal testimony to present to the administrative law judge, similar to how the planning commission holds its public hearings, where you can come before the administrative law judge, present your written and verbal testimony, and then that becomes part of the record, and the administrative law judge would take that information into consideration as she makes her final determination in regards to the request from Baldwin Township. And we are recommending that we pursue option 3, which is pulling together information for consideration by the administrative law judge relating to Princeton's position, and getting our information on the record, and probably having someone at the hearing to also verbally testify. So.
Does anybody have any questions about the choices?
I think number 3 is definitely the way to go.
It seems like that's the most streamlined way of putting your points on record, and so.
Well, when you have to work with an outside attorneys to get the recommendations and did you have them?
She's up there.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask her.
Oh, that's her, okay.
Oh, yeah, you might not know who Kelly is.
I know the name, but I don't know if I ever met her or not.
It's been a while since you've been in City Hall. I think you're muted, by the way.
There we go. It has been a while. It's nice to see the faces, even though they're all remote.
Did you have anything you wanted to add regarding this, or you're good for now?
Mayor and Council, I don't. I think Michelle covered it. Option 3, I think, is the best way to go at this point. I think staff are working on pulling data together, and we'll be meeting to go over that. So I think that's the best option at this point for the council to move forward with.
All right, anybody else have questions on our choice of the way we participate in the annex or the incorporation request?
Not that I want to do option two, but what would be the incentive for us to participate in the cost? I'm guessing it's not.
Well, I'm not sure there is an incentive, because one of the outcomes, depending upon what the administrative law judge sees, would be, basically, I don't know if she can order the two parties to, enter into an alternative method, as opposed to having an orderly annexation agreement in place already. So, but again, we looked at these options and we feel that we can get our message to the administrative law judge just as easily with option three as with option two. Without any, there'll be some costs we've budgeted for, you know, assistance. You know, we might need WSB to put together some exhibits. Kelly will probably provide us assistance in getting the format correctly done and drafted up in a way that is easily digestible by the administrative law judge and those types of things, but there won't be other costs that are associated with that. I think our internal staff is ready to do a significant amounts of heavy lifting to limit our external costs as much as possible.
Because you don't have anything better. All right, anybody else have questions on this or other input from
With option,
any other staff? Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
sorry, with option three, would that, you said it's putting forth our findings, to present. I guess, I mean, is that all going to be against the incorporation of Baldwin Township or?
I think we will put together our information in the light of our ability to provide services, maybe not to the entire township, but to a significant portion of the township. Those types of things that are basically in the statute. We would respond specifically to the standards of evaluation that the administrative law judge would go through. And then ultimately it's up to the judge to prove, deny, come up with something in the middle. Again, get both parties in a room for discussion. We just don't know where she's gonna land, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else?
I'll make the motion, go with the staff's recommendation of approving option number 3, their presentation.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? You voted
Not voting.
not voting? All right. Counselor Reynolds did not vote on this one. All right, that brings us to, I guess that's what we have for Baldwin tonight. That brings us to resolution 2403, preliminary and final plat for Princeton Residential Suites.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Resolution 24-03. You're probably all familiar with. It is the Princeton Residential Suites, the development that Pat Briggs is working on. I did slip under your agenda just a copy of the final plat, just in case if you're curious what it looked like. We are looking just to approve the resolution authorizing the approval of the preliminary and final plat.
Do you have any questions on the plat on this, for this example? And then I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Motion and a second. For resolution 2403. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. That brings us to public hearing for tax increment financing district 9.4 for Phoenix Capital LLC. Regarding the same piece of property.
Correct. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is the public hearing to approve the submittal of the tax increment financing for District 9-4 for Phoenix Capital, which is also Pat Briggs for his phase 3 and phase 4 development.
Take a motion to open a public hearing.
Second.
Motion made and second to open a public hearing for the financing district 9.4. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of opening the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Public, what say ye?
Staff would like to note that Tammy from Northland is also here if people have specific questions regarding the TIF or TIF process or any.
And do we have a duration of the tax increment financing district on this one, or is it an open-ended time right now?
26 years, I believe, correct? That's correct.
Same as last time?
Yep.
Anybody else?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion made and seconded to close the hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The hearing is closed. And that brings us to resolution 2402, modifying the development district 9 to include these two phases of its development.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. As you see in front of you, resolution 24-02 actually has several things that are attached to it. It's a modification of the development district, so it's the TIF 9-4, which we're creating through these two phases. It's also the interfund loan authorizing the two development agreements, which are also attached in your packet. And it's also removing a parcel from TIF 9-2, which was his original TIF that included a portion of this request, so we had to remove it to move forward with this request. So it's all kind of wrapped into one resolution, and both of the development agreements are attached after the resolution.
So what got removed from,
When they originally did the 9-2, they incorporated the whole property. So we had to remove the portion that we are creating 9-4 for.
Which is south of the, east south of the Leonard Road.
Correct.
So, yep.
oh, I'm looking at it backwards. No wonder it wasn't making any sense. Got it. I'm looking at it sideways.
Jamie, did you have anything to add on explaining that?
I can speak to it if the council would like. I defer to the council.
Yeah, that would be welcome. Thank you.
I will try to project louder, maybe there's Mike picking me up. Tammy Umdahl with Northland Public Finance, serving as advisor to the city on the consideration of this application. The city did receive an application from Briggs Company for phase 3 and 4. As mentioned, that was to complete the final 2 apartment buildings. And as part of that, it requires the consideration of the establishment of a new tax increment financing district. It will be a housing district, which means that the developer annually will certify to the city that a minimum number of the units are income qualified. So market rate with an affordable component. And I can speak to the terms of those agreements that are before you. There's 2 separate development agreements for the assistance for each of the phases, phase 3 and phase 4. The term of the district is 26 years, but I would note that phase 3, once that project is constructed and the first increment is collected, that will start the clock on those 26 years. So there is an incentive for the developer with the final phase 4 to proceed and to generate increments sooner within that window of that 26 years. Phase 3, under what is before you, should you approve that resolution this evening, would provide for reimbursement of approximately $844,000 of project costs. So the developer Briggs Company will have to provide evidence of that after that is, and after the project is constructed. The city then will issue a revenue note to reimburse that over a term not to exceed the 26 years. And I mention that because we can only estimate what those taxes will be over those 26 years, the increment. If the taxes turn out in the value to be greater than what's estimated at this time, it's possible that would be paid off sooner. Phase 2, or excuse me, I would say phase 2, phase 4 technically, is approximately $1,262,000. For phase 2, there's more units, more value. And same thing there, that it will not exceed the maximum duration of the TIF district. If the district were to generate more increment that's projected, it may end sooner than 26 years, but it will not exceed 26 years. There was a lot of information in your packet this evening to that. I would note the key pieces, the tax increment financing plan, which is then filed with the county and the state auditor. That document, while wordy, really becomes the framework for your consideration of those 2 development agreements. And the key terms in those development agreements are what I just highlighted. With that, Mayor, Council, if you have more detailed questions, let me know. I will answer, or anything else you may have for me this evening. Thank you.
I just have a quick question. Phase 3 was 800, how much?
844,000 and some change. Let me give you the 844,133.
Okay,
We did
thank
not
you.
round.
And maybe just so you know, the memo is in your packet, so that have some of those details that Tim laid out.
On page 2, yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So that brings us to the resolution. Take a motion on the resolution.
I'll move to approve resolution 24-02, modification of District 9.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The additional discussion on the resolution.
Yes, there's more to it than what I said. John, you're-
You all good? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Opposed? That is approved. Thank you, Mr. Briggs, for stopping in and continue to work in Princeton. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, that brings us to resolution 2404, accepting donation from John and Carol Hewlett for the fire department.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is an annual contribution that the Hewletts provide to the Princeton Fire and Rescue Department. It's typically in the amount of $200, which is what they have provided us again in 2024. We'd like to thank them for their donation. We appreciate all the donations that the citizens and residents that surround the city provide us. And with that, I would like you to approve resolution 2404.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve resolution 2404 and thank John and Carol.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Brings us to resolution to accept donation from the Eddy Family Foundation.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, happy to present the fact that we received a $4,000 check from the Eddy Family Foundation. We received this before and they obviously do a phenomenal job. We're planning on using it for just safety promotion and stuff and some equipment.
No, they didn't specify if they used it intended.
Just generic, yeah, just whatever we want.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and this is they do the annual, don't they?
Correct.
I make a motion to approve resolution 24-5.
Motion made in second. More discussion?
I would like to note before you finalize your vote that, Chief Lawrence did note that the fire department also received a similar donation, and that will be on the agenda on the 25th.
Fantastic, good. Any other comments or questions on resolution? So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Also carries.
Thank you.
Board of Commission appointments. We have a list of applications. Perhaps we should go through the easy ones first, where we have the same number of applicants for openings. Is everybody okay with that?
I am.
Yes.
Okay, so let's, start with Airport Advisory Board. We have William Moriarty. If you're here when we're going through this and you want to say hi, appreciate it. I don't know who everybody is here, so. We'll start with the Airport Advisory Board. We have one applicant for a position. William Moriarty. Is there a motion to approve him to the position?
So moved.
Second. Motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Housing and Redevelopment Authority, we have two open positions, they're 5-year terms. And we have applications from Helen Sanborn and Bonnie Olson.
Do them separately, or do we do
Do
them
it together.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve Helen Sanborn and Bonnie Olson for HRE.
Each in a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That's positive. Okay, very good. Opposed? Hearing, if the vote, it approves Helen Sanborn and Bonnie Olson to the Housing Redevelopment Authority. We'll skip the Park Board for just a minute and move on to Planning Commission. We have Scott Mueller, who's a township resident. There you are. Very good. And Ben Lewis. Ben Lewis, thank you for applying. Take a motion to approve.
To appoint Scott Muller and Lewis to the planning commission.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? None, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That carries. Welcome. Welcome, Scott. Appreciate it. Thank you. Public Utilities Commission, we got one open position. It's a 3-year term. Paul Whitcomb has applied for that. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve Paul Whitcomb for PUC.
I second that motion.
A motion and a second. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? That carries. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
And Cable Commission, we have one position. There's no term to it. Councilor Helene has applied for that one. I'll make a motion to appoint Vicky Helene to the Cable Commission.
No, second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That carries. All right, this brings it to the hard part. You got 3 open positions, but we have 6 people that applied for it. That's an embarrassment of riches, I guess. How would you like to proceed with this. Do we have people in the audience that are applying for? There's a couple. All right. If you want, stand up and introduce, and you can stay there if you'd like.
Okay. I'm gonna stand up. So my name is Ashley Pettipies, and I have applied for one of the positions for the park board. I have many connections to Princeton that I have accumulated over this year, and I think with my background in the community, in the public schools, and connecting that with the city, that it would be a positive outlook to the park and the growth and making more opportunities for our community. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
My name is Dan Stoltenberg. I'm only for the park board position normally. I've been in the construction industry for well over 20+ years. In the last 5 years, I've been doing parks and playgrounds. And I feel that I would have a pretty good input on some of the upward trends in the industry for the city of Princeton.
All right, thank you. Okay,
I guess my first question is, have all three of the present people that hold the seats now, have all three of those people applied?
Yes,
And which ones are
the first three.
first three?
Mr. Mayor, if I could have a little input on this, I've sat on the park board for the last year and would just like to share some of my observances. Jill Papish has been the chair of the park board for many years, and I feel that she still has a lot to contribute, has a lot of good ideas, has, some, positive attitude, and does a really good job of running the meetings. And so I would like to recommend Jill to stay on the board. Travis Conan is another park board member. And I've observed Travis with lots of great ideas, lots of good questions. He's got a lot of passion for being on the board. And I think he deserves to keep his spot on the board. In my opinion, the other member that reapplied, I would like to see that seat replaced. And the reason I say that is there's not been a lot of attendance at the meetings or, a lot of input. What I really like, Ashley Pettipies, I was super impressed with her application. I think she's going to come to us, with some new ideas. I think she brings, a younger generation piece to the mix. And I think just by reading her application and having her show up tonight shows, a really big interest. And I think she would be a great addition to the park board. That's my input.
Well, I don't have any personal connection with hardly anybody. I know Jill and who she is. And I agree with Councilor Garrell. He's a tremendous asset. Gilman,
And yeah,
you certainly have a lot of expertise and background in what you're applying for. To me, that's a very valuable asset, or would be a great addition, I would think. Yes, but I appreciate Ashley's input too. I can say we have a dilemma here that we rarely have. Usually we don't have people applying. So this is a bit of conundrum for me anyway. Well,
back and find these two applications.
So do you have a second someone? Not yet. Still thinking.
I think I can appreciate Congress here with input, on the two. It's the third one that's only me,
Yes.
not troubling, but I still let you understand it.
I don't know, I guess I'm fine with, Counselor Gerald's. Counselor Gerald's, input on this. I'd be okay with the, her recommendation to go with, Ms. Betty Pease, Babish, and Mr. Coleman. I guess I could make that a motion and you can either second or not. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
gonna feel bad either way.
she's the closest to it, so I think we have to respect that and appreciate that. I just wanted to say, Dan, don't be discouraged. I hope it's, somebody might step down for some reason, or who knows, whatever. If you have expertise that would be helpful, just attend meetings and maybe you can help out that way.
Thank you.
That's my thought, so.
Did I get a second?
I'll second.
Well, thank you.
I think you tried.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? That carries. Thank you, Dan, for applying. I appreciate it. Obviously, we're conflicted on what to do a little bit here. Ashley, thank you for applying.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Let's do good things. Right, that brings us to Vice Mayor and Council Liaison. Do Vice Mayor first. I'm happy with the situation that we have now. And I would nominate Councilor Gerald for Vice Mayor for this next year.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No vote? Okay, very good. That approved 4-0. Let's
Thank
see
you.
what else. All right, our boards and commissions, we have, Planning Commission, Vicky is that liaison, Park Board, Jenny is that one. I'm the Airport Advisory Board, Public Utilities, Sue Jack, but that's not really right because you're actually on the commission. Well, that's the appointment. We're talking about two different things here, I think, so. EDA, both Vicky and I are members of the EDA board. Fire Advisory Board, Jenny Gerald is that person. Housing and Development Authority as Vicky. Cable Commission is Vicky. Mille Lacs Historical Society is Jack. ECRDC Board. Are you going to those meetings?
I have not been, I would, if nobody else wants it, I would stay on it. I'm changing my personal life a little bit, so it's gonna hopefully give me some more time. Is, Jenny on the ECRD?
Well, it's
Is your wife on that?
Yes.
Sure.
I don't know.
I know Jeremy Bill and I, when I was a county rep on that board, Jeremy and I would like ride together and stuff.
And I don't know if there's an opening on that board now. I don't know the answer to that one.
Well, the city position should be.
Well, the way it works, though, there's 5 counties and there, in each county, there is a representative. That's a town or city government.
Two or three others.
Yeah, so I know that Cambridge was there when I was there and, I was the one from Mille Lacs County and I don't know who were the people from Pine and Canada and what's the other one?
Well, I was on for the 8 years, I was on the county board, and then I know Dr. Bill or Mayor Bill was that least for part of the time.
That, no, he was before I was on there. So, if you're willing to do that, we'll see if we can get that to put it in there, like, see if we can get that.
More conduit of it.
Mr. Mayor, last time when we did this and we checked on that, they didn't have an open seat. We can recheck again, because I know Jack had talked about it before. And we had contacted them and they didn't have an open seat at that time, so that's probably why Jack.
That's why-
hadn't been
that's
in meetings.
I don't know, honestly, I would
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
it.
But we can check to see if there's.
Yeah, there was an
Open
open
now.
seat.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I just pulled their website up and, there is a vacant spot for the Mille Lacs County Public Interest position, so currently,
No, that's a different.
yeah, currently, currently the representatives are, Commissioner Reynolds, for the county. Dave Dillon for the municipalities, and Robert Holford, who is representing the townships for the county. So,
Did you want to apply for the public interest part?
Who appointed, county board appointed that up there?
No, they support the VCRDC board appoints the members.
we can reach out to Jordan
Where?
and get some more information.
Yeah, that is it.
And then our Chamber of Commerce, plays up. Council Carroll. The Fire Advisory Board, with the discussion with Councilor Gerald. I asked if she would like me to take that for the rest of the year, and she was okay with that. It's okay with everybody else, I could do that.
I'm gonna point you for that.
As far as the rest of these, is there any other change to the slate that's up there?
The only one I was gonna mention was the airport board. I being seated on that, I could do the same with the PUC and be the working at it. If it's up to you.
You know, for some reason, that first Monday has slipped my mind so often, but I'll do better.
But I'm there anyway.
I was gonna say, Tom, since you're taking one of mine, if you want to give one up, I'd do the airport advisory, but if you want to keep it, that's fine too.
No, I'd be happy with that. Just like I said, is that for whatever reason, that first Monday is just difficult for me, I guess.
Well, we meet what, about 3-4 times a year now.
But that makes it harder.
Yeah, we're meeting, I think we meet 6 times a month, 6 times a year, excuse me. And I think it's the odd months that we're
Yeah,
meeting
so it
now.
would have been, I saw it was on a calendar for January and I wasn't in columns.
Correct,
Next one would be March.
correct.
Jack, for the Mille Lacs County Historical Society, when do they meet again?
Yeah, the third Wednesday at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And I always make it, with my work schedule, I always make sure I have those days off. I'm not gonna be cutting back.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a lot more flexibility. Here again, referring to the RDC board, and I was on that for 8 years, so I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, if you ever need a backup, just let me know.
All right, is there any questions on names and spots? Are we good?
So if I can just clarify, Mr. Mayor, so Vicky will remain planning commission, Jenny will stay on the park board. Am I to understand that Jenny will now take the airport advisory board? No?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
she's shaking
Oh.
no, and
I thought you wanted to keep that. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I'll take it if Tom doesn't want it.
Get there, so that's fine.
Okay.
I'll keep that one.
all right, and then, Jack will stay on PUC. You and Vicky will be on EDA, and then Mr. Mayor, you'll take the role of the fire advisory board rep. And then the rest of them will be the way that there are for the 2023 appointments. I just wanted to make sure in my mind that that's the list.
That's the list as I understand it. Any other questions on that? Okay. Take a motion to approve that slate of appointments.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made to approve the list of liaisons and appointments to these boards. Any questions? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thanks for everybody's help on this. It's all important stuff, so. Let's move on to the bill list.
I have no questions.
Don't have questions except for. No, I have no questions. Just lost them.
Everybody okay? I move to approve the January 9th and 11th, 2024 check register containing checks 87646 to 87717 in the amount of $417,703.93. And the payroll electronic payments as noted on the pay period 1 transmittal register in the amount of $110,807.04. And pay period 22 check register in the amount of $201,867.64.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, that should be pay period 1. I apologize. Missed that.
Okay.
That one. So pay period 22.
Oh, pay period 1.
Yep.
Change that.
Yeah.
From the amendment.
Yeah. More like a correction.
Correction.
Yep.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions, additional questions on the bill list? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That carries. Brings us to. That brings us to bi-weekly report.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, it's kind of year end, beginning end. So we're focusing on those tasks. The payroll transition was a pretty heavy lift for the HR specialist senior accountant. There's a number of meetings and reminders upcoming. And I will be out of the office starting tomorrow for next week, but I am available by phone and email should anybody need to get a hold of me. And I did attend along with Councilor Edmonds the visitation for Eldon Johnson. Acknowledge his long years of service to the city. His insight was invaluable for us in terms of his service on the planning commission, so he will be sorely missed. Well, that's it for my administrator's report. The next piece is per our discussion last week, I made some changes to the code of conduct for city boards and commissions. I did do some research. Unfortunately, neither the League of Minnesota Cities or the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities had sample codes of conduct for specific to advisory boards. However, Minnesota Mayors Association has an entire section on decorum for councils. So I pulled some of those standards forward and added them to the code of conduct. So I'm just looking to see if we're still heading in the right direction, if there were any other changes that the council would like to see. And then we will be making some changes to the ordinance. The ordinance change that was done under, I believe, Mayor Schumacher references that the members of various boards and commissions are subject to the personnel manual. And we cannot enforce the personnel manual on non-employees. And in fact, there's an exception to that. So we'll need to make that change. So you'll see that in subsequent meetings that will kind of clean up that ordinance section, but that's a discussion for another night. But if there were any other changes to the draft that you have in your packet, I'd be happy to take them, and then we'll bring a final draft back to the January 25th meeting for approval.
The highlighted is,
The highlighted are the significant changes from the one that you saw last week.
gotcha, okay.
So,
I know we're gonna do a little language change and stuff.
correct.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, anybody have any questions? Any problems? So direction is to continue as on the path they're taking, I guess. So,
Okay. So many.
all right, committee reports.
I guess our first public utility commission will be the fourth Wednesday. This month, 24th, I think, at 1 o'clock. We'll welcome our newest commissioner. Thank you.
My meetings are, so, yeah,
I'm sorry.
my meetings are, so, yeah.
And
I don't have anything, Mr. Mayor.
all right, I'm good. Everybody good?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.